Morning, everyone. I see that you're ready to work during the second day of the conference. As Georg mentioned yesterday, my name is Ulrika, and I will be the moderator for today. Today we will have a lot of interesting discussions, and I want to promise everyone that there will be one moment when everyone will be able to speak, and not just the ones invited. So please get ready that you will have a word. Just in a couple of words regarding yesterday. Yesterday we had a very information-rich day, but we also had several things that I noted, and maybe they will help you to remember yesterday. One of the things that I remember is Mr. Kaue's text that the community heart is active, so that active citizens is the heart of a community, and library is the house of a community. I really liked this sentence and the idea. He also spoke a lot about communities as centers for getting together in libraries. We also heard about that libraries should be places that are trustworthy for their readers and for their communities. Later, we also heard that libraries are the places, at least in Kekovo, it's a place where life goes on and where you can get some tasty things. Then Irina also mentioned that libraries help refugees to become members of a community. That is very, very nice note from yesterday. We had also a presentation about Ukrainian citizens in Rēzekne, and thus it helped us to understand what people need and what they wish within the context of library readers or potential readers. Because yesterday we heard also about things that kids don't come to libraries because parents don't let them come alone. We also spoke about co-creation, about different manuals in the international context. One thing that was highlighted is that we don't need to wait, we need to start working now. We are responsible for speaking about what we do, and then people will get more interested, and maybe we'll have more visitors and readers if they know more about our good works. And I also liked the example about the librarian knowledge, including ICT skills, who could help to other people, and that can be applicable also to other themes. One thing that I noted is that we spoke a lot about Ukrainian nationals in different countries, and maybe we spoke less about other newcomers. And today we could deal more also with other newcomers, also starting with the very first speaker. And I would like to tell you a short story from yesterday when I arrived to the hotel. I thought that we had the last part devoted to e-skills, and I think that I'm quite good with digital skills. I arrived to the hotel and I tried to turn on the TV. I am not sure if someone else has the same situation. So you need to press on the live TV. I did it, and then it says that the channels are not pre-programmed. The next text comes. You need to pre-program these channels. Do you want to do that? Yes, I do. So we had three options: anthem, satellite, and some one more option. Then I got a bit lost, and then I noticed that there's a huge notice that if you turn on the wrong channel, the police will come. And then I understood that I most probably I will not watch TV. I understand all the context, what every of the messages mean. There's a separate information how to turn on the TV, and that didn't really work for me. And it was on several sheets of paper, and it's how simple it should be to turn on a TV, but we pass it in such a difficult way that even people with good digital skills, they cannot do it. So, but this is what I noticed within the context of our conference themes. And of course, we have our own personal experience, and I believe that, and if I think that something is clear for me, also others would understand that. And also, the very first speaker for today will mention within the context of safety. That also appeared in my TV story, how to talk to people, how to make the space available for them. So in this way, I most probably have finished the review from yesterday. Maybe you have any other remarks that you would like to mention from yesterday. Either I have managed to say the most important things, or you don't want to share your own remarks and experience. So today we will start with Rudis Rubenis, who will speak about library space as a resource. Then we'll continue with four colleagues during the panel discussion. And after the coffee break, everyone will be able to participate in a new method, dialogue circles, and share their experience. After that, we'll have a short closure of the conference, guided tour around the library, and then we go back home. Now I would like to give floor to Mr. Rubenis, who will speak about the Central Library. And I have done a lot of research regarding the Library. I also went to Ogde. Can you raise hands who have been in the Library? Half of you have been there. And should say that when I was looking for the information about the Central Library, I think that it's a great architectural chef-d'oeuvre. And for me, the most important thing is to see how the library works as a magnet for the community. So now I give floor to Rudis Rubenis. So yes, hello everyone. Many thanks to Linda for the introductory words. I'm very pleased that about this magnet effect. This what I'm trying to show during this presentation and prove is that if we do things in a more human way, in a simpler way, also the environment, the space becomes more intuitive, and everyone who comes from outside can understand what's happening and find their own space and place. Starting from when we started the story about the library, I wanted to show the different stages that we went through during the project creation. So everything started in 2017 when I would say it was a successful coincidence that me, as a student from Riga Technical University, I came to Ogri, who was so at first we thought about student event. I was a participant of that event, but municipality actually wanted to get a student for design sketches about the future of the library. And me, as an architecture student, it seemed interesting to me. I prepared a sketch, about the possible library, and this is the sketch from 2017. The one we will get to a bit later. Then I gave it to the municipality. In general, they liked it. Maybe the second floor looks quite old-fashioned, not so modern, but in general, for the first sketch, it was okay. And it stayed like that. Then in 2018, it was time for me to finish my master studies at the university as an architect, and I decided to continue this sketch as my master thesis. So I had some work done. It seemed like a very good basis for my master thesis. And then, if for the first sketch, we worked together a lot with the librarians. And then in 2018, I was looking already at the European and world context, how libraries are created, and I could develop it into my master thesis. In 2020, it turned out that the municipality had found finances, European funding, and they already announced a competition for design and building. And at that time, I worked in the architect bureau, and we participated in this competition together with a construction company. There we gained this competition, and it was the third time when I could work with the library project and to review everything that was done before. And I would say that this quite long designing period when we had possibilities to review everything that was done before. And thus we could ensure quite wide inclusion of different users. This is the reason why in 2021 the library would open as a nice and user-friendly building. So we go back in time. In 2017, the municipality representatives say that, Rudi, go walk around Ogre, feel the city, and only then go with your vision and your sketches. So I did so. I knew Ogre quite well, and for those who are not from Latvia, it's important to say, at least for me, Ogre has always been like a special ambience, historical court town with the forests, nature. And this was a slide for the concept that I showed during the first presentation as a municipality. These are the values that we need to keep in our library. Is the nature, core town. It was like a colony historically as from of wooden houses. So this ambience of a core town with some different recreational feelings. And from the today's perspective, wood as a construction material seemed very, very good, as it goes in very well in this place. And thus we created this very first sketch with a wooden building that would have a very vast and visible first floor, so that it would be a very inviting building. And the second floor would consist of several sections with roofs that look like historical roofs, so that it's not like one big building, but like several smaller buildings. So then, in 2018, I continued with my master thesis, and one of the parts that I looked at was the current trends in library development. Here you have a very short conclusion, summary of all these things. One of the things that felt very important for me is that in nowadays libraries borrow ideas from other fields. It was very interesting, interdisciplinary, something fresh. And then we had an overview over new features in libraries. And in my work, I mentioned, so with Red, I mentioned some of the most interesting ideas. For instance, that libraries have also cafes, community centers, publicly available kitchens, and also mutual social communication between library users, and creating also environment for that, ensuring a living room concept. That seemed very specific and interesting and could work in Workday. And for the conclusions, what was very interesting for me is that the libraries should ensure vast possibilities for users to spend time together, to learn, to study, and to communicate. I believe that everyone from the people present feel this as everyday life. There's nothing innovative, but for me as an architect, yeah, we have different libraries existing, renovated, built anew, but to ensure the user's experience where people would like to spend time together, I think there are very few people, at least in my experience, who go to school libraries or different other libraries where I went to borrow books. I could not manage. I cannot think that I could take another person with me and to go and have some rest there. And for me as an architect, it was a challenge because we need to build a physical environment. And the services librarians will provide, it's not in our control, but the space, the environment should be like creating this feeling that you want to spend time together there. And in this way, we started working with users. And I actually wanted to say that at the very beginning of the presentation, I'm really glad to be in a room full of librarians, because this is how we started to work with Work the Library in a small room where we and librarians from Work the Library, we discussed. I showed different sketches, and we had these feedback sessions when we went through different visual ideas, contents, and actually during the building project creation. Inga maybe will say other words, but within 2 weeks we usually had meetings and discussed everything with the colleagues and librarians. And during this intensive co-working, we didn't know how to do particular things, how to create, for instance, children's or teens' reading room or conference hall, or how to create a children's reading room that would be interesting and useful for young mothers. And after that, we had a great idea. It came from the librarian side. We have a Facebook page, Work the Mummies Club, and we could have a questionnaire there, and here we asked for the opinion, and we had a lot of different comments with ideas. So here I would like to highlight Ivetas Abeli's comment. She shared her experience in a Swedish library with their solutions. And several people and several ideas were used for future bases for the Workday Library design. Such an idea that kids' room is divided into several areas where kids can crawl around and the mom stay there while reading. So, and for me as an architect, it's already clear, okay, we can ensure this as a room service. Then we also went to local schools, and there was not a single moment that we must involve inhabitants. We had so many meetings between architects and librarians. We understood that we don't have a clear understanding ourselves, and we need this additional information. So we were quite open. We went to different schools and asked questions. This is a meeting in Ishkele school, where we had a task with an empty space, and we asked children to draw their dream reading room, and also then speak about the most valued ones. So one of the designs that I am showing you. So here we have swings to jump into the swimming pool, into the water. So that was a great idea, but we did not implement it in Ogri. But there were several other ideas about climbing walls, about scents in the room. We did implement. So here are just ideas what we had. So based on Facebook comments and the ideas about the Swedish libraries, we have a separate room for smaller users of the library and visitors and their moms. And next to it, we have a very so. And in this room, we have soft carpets, and next to it, there we have we see for also for moms for using. So yeah, this room it was created based on the users' involvement. Also, the climbing wall. It came from the many kids' ideas, so that kids have some activities in the library. Because kids, modern kids, want not only to sit down and read. This is how the design idea looked like and how the real wall looks like. And we also had a glass wall so that it's acoustically separate room where kids can be allowed. This room became quite multifunctional because we have a soft mat where kids can sit. It can be used as a story room. And it was a very, very great challenge, especially for librarians, because to have such a room in their reading room where it's possible to fall down. These were not easy discussions. Sometimes we, as an architects, we felt that it seems that we are pushing for something innovative. But afterwards, also the companies who installed these walls, they were really involved. We had we have a plaque with instructions, and that every user is responsible for their own safety. And through all these balancing activities, actions, we came to the final result that we can have this room. And afterwards, Inga maybe will tell about possible accidents. Then we have also recreation area. This area is also gives some zoning to the kids' library. Here you can see how it was implemented. Actually, when we look back to the sketches, it was a COVID time, and we lived in a 20 square meter apartment with a wife. And when you cannot go out and you cannot experiment, so you need to create something, some furniture for kids. Then we used different sofa cushions and experimenting with those to create those this furniture. So the idea is that either two kids can sit on it or one adult. So this is how it was implemented in reality. And it's important not to think also about just furniture, but how they are put in the space. We think about the living room concept. This image actually shows a living room with couches and TVs and carpets. So this gives this sense of home. And we had also an idea that we got from different youngsters that it would be great that the youth library, youth reading room, would have a separate area for librarians so that teens have more privacy. And our idea was that, so yeah, we understood we cannot leave teens alone. Well, maybe we can, maybe we don't. And in the middle, so middle way was that we have a room for librarians with glass doors. Unfortunately, this didn't work. We have this implemented, but librarians still have their desk in the main hall. I spoke with the librarians and the workers who are working there mentioned that teens they feel quite well if there's a person whom they can come to and address. But I think that it's quite good that we have experimented a lot and we see that some things work well, some others need to be adjusted. Here's a very short overview of Workday Library. It's a two-story building. On the very first floor, we have atrium with a wardrobe area, and this atrium continues also on the second floor. We have also on the left the main library with some small recreation areas. We have also this kids library area that is divided into several spaces, several rooms, events area, game area, and also this babies area. After that, we have depository with bookshelves and administration rooms. On the second floor, we have several reading rooms, teens reading room, adults reading room, or the silent reading room. We have also a conference hall with outdoor terrace and room for children. And within this design part, our municipality decided to go in two ways. And we also have a marriage registry inside the library room. If we would need to combine two functions, we would have two separate entrances, but the marriage registry is located inside the library on the second floor. So what, when we created new library, what was a great struggle for me as an architect? When we create a new library or any new public building, the main first question, idea is that we need everything to be wide open. But when we look closer to the environment where people feel good or where youth want to be located in the inside the building. So there are different practices, for instance, feng shui, when you feel safe, etc., etc. But when there are so it's important for people to have these small, cozy, and private places, private spaces. So when we created this new building, we had a question how to combine these two different needs. I would like to share an example of cafes. that also comes into the library space even more. And I would like to share this because I have quite a good experience working in a cafe in my life. This is me in 2011 in a Greek restaurant in Germany, where during one summer I spent my internship there. Because my first education, I wanted to work immediately after the ninth grade, and I had a restaurant a qualification. Uh, I went in that direction because I always liked to cook and to create a sense of festivities. So this is why I have these cafe examples so close to me. This is a cafe, chat cafe, located in Riga, in Stockman Trade Center. So if you are there, sometimes you can go there as well. As a question, and what I think is that this cafe is a good example to create such a space, because it not only provides good food, but it's also comfortable to stay there. How do you think? Why I'm showing this as the best example? Very well. That's exactly what I meant. What I envy, they have actually divided the space with very simple elements, with wooden cones. They haven't split it in small booths, but they have zoned it so that you can feel in a more private space, but you are still located next to other people. And we take away all these strings and columns, and we have all the tables located in the space. Yeah, the feeling comes that we are located in a big canteen, and it's. I think it's something deep inside people's conscience that you need some protection from different sides where you feel safe. And that's very important for people. So how we try to solve this and implement this in Nordic library, where we actually did create vast spaces. These are windowsills that is interesting for me as, for instance, as a youth. When I was traveling, we had great windows, big windows, windowsills where you can sit down, where you can hide a bit, where you are in a smaller space, but still you have access and view to the wide space outside the room. And there we can see the view from the youth reading hall, where we have this wide space, and we have these window sills that help as small booth where you can hide a bit, take your favorite book, and stay together with forest or the view outside the window. Of course, the building is nice, very beautiful and of high quality. Still, when we had to work on the interior design, if you have managed to work on construction process, and when during the second part of the building period, you always start lacking funds, and you need to compromise. So we had many more things planned for this reading hall, but we need to cut them out. Since these window sills were already part of the building construction, so they were there, included in the building, and this is why such inbuilt elements they can be used in a very good way. Then Here we have the view from the building atrium, where you can see the view to the second floor, and it's a very precise balance between privacy and supervision monitoring, and it was a problem in the atrium. So you see this youth reading hall somewhere here. On the left, we have librarians. There are youth, youngsters, though they sit down. There's still a feeling that there's a balance between privacy and control, while on atrium it's created as a fully open space. And though there behind your back we have a registry office and wardrobe, still the space is huge. And on the second floor we have also windows who are far away, so there is no this sense of control. And when we came to the library, we saw so there are no curtains anymore on the second floor. So we asked about the reason, and the youngsters used to sit in those windows, close the curtains, and wave. So that was that's understandable. They are testing their borders. So here they went too far, and here in atrium we don't have curtains there anymore, only the window sills. So in every place, depending on the room construct, so we have different nuances. So here we can see the view to the second part of the atrium with green walls, with lamps that ensure a comfortable feeling. What's important is that this atrium is a wide open space, and in the atrium, the other half, they have these window sills where you can hide a bit. If we answer the question, that is quite important often, how we can attract students and youth. So my short answer would be that it's the necessity to hide and feel safe at the same time. If we offer more such spaces or rooms, so if we divide everything in small dark places, then it wouldn't be really safe and cozy. But if we find the balance between these, we have a wide monitor space, and then we have several more hidden spaces, then kids like to stay there. And in general, I also feel like a youngster who looks for different spaces where to stay. And I always had this feeling that I wanted freely accessible public indoor spaces, just like outdoors. So like we have parks in a city. We live in a northern climate, and it's not often possible to stay outdoors. So when I was a student, I lived outside the city, and when I had some time between studies and the bus to go home, and when you're a city center, the only option is go to a cafe. It's okay, but I didn't spend much money, but sometimes I felt that I needed some other space where I can simply go and be there and stay there. So the libraries can have this function as public indoor spaces. And if we can continue this theme, so how we can ensure that the library is open and welcoming. Here we can see these windows with already curtains removed. And quite often when I visit the library, I see that other user groups are using them. Now we see a lot of adults, seniors, and not so much young people. And most probably this area that is that doesn't provide such a high level of privacy, but still it's we have public atrium, but we can sit down and have some more privacy. It's very good for this particular group of users. So every group of users, they have their own nuances about the public amount, public volume they like to have. The idea that worked very well, and that was very successful decision that we as architects wouldn't think of, but it was very courageous from the municipality side. It was to put this marriage office, marriage registry office in the library on the second floor due to this huge window, so that marriage could take place on the background of forest. It was a great idea, and why we put this marriage registry office in the library and on the second floor. At first, of course, it was stress and a challenge for marriage registry office workers, how we are going to live together, how we manage the user flow. But for me, I have this metropolitan feeling. Kids come in the library, seniors go to the library, and then we have this delegation with newlyweds, a new couple. And this changes the situation, and it opens the building. Of course, there are many nice, beautiful pictures, and it seems that in Ulagda everything was perfect. But actually, during the process, we had different situations till the very last moments of the construction, and the municipality worried about the VCs. We need blue lights so that we could have drug users who, and then with the blue lights they won't see their veins. And for us as architects, it seemed that this fear was too much, too high about the homeless people. There was a question about how we ensure good ventilation so that if people with particular smells come, how would we solve this issue? And actually, we did not solve these issues directly, did not address these issues directly, how we're going to fight drug users or homeless people. But with the environment, users, they adapt, they behave. So if you provide better environment, better space, people also become more aware of this environment and value this. And Inga most probably will be able to give you some comments about accidents during these years, but I haven't heard about big challenges that we and problems that we didn't solve. The mentality that we had when we build something new, we create something new, we have quite high emotions that we need to solve everything. We create something new, and if we do not manage this, then there's no use. We fail to do it. And here we have a small picture of library entrance in the old building, and we can look back at the picture we had before for the new building. So even if not all the parameters were improved, just improving the existing environment, it's a very good beginning. What is an important observation is that we do not always need to build something new. As an example, it would be so we have renovated the youth house in Ogre. It's the picture from the appendix to this youth house, and actually they have also youth center in the existing premises. And when we met youth from other towns, of course, we heard that the youth house in Ogre is great, but sometimes it feels a bit sterile in this particular room because it's not so cozy anymore. But initially, the premises are older, yet it's very demanded place for staying. And when we designed the library, we also conducted research about youth house in Ogre, and the youngsters, what they mentioned a lot, the most thing they want, they can have old premises, old rooms, it doesn't matter, but the most important thing for them was to create their own space, that they can work on it. So if for adult people we want something put in order, so youth, they want to work on their own space. And as a conclusion, as a final part, I would like to show an example of a project that I worked on during the previous 2 years, the New York Bauhaus project, where we involved users or inhabitants when we created new social housing and a service center in Riga. We planned to have social housing, daycare centers, and community space. So we had to involve three users groups: daycare users, kids, people with mental disabilities, and inhabitants of social houses. And how do you think whom it was the most difficult to reach? Which group? Maybe we can raise hands. How do you think? Was it the most difficult to work with kids or with people with mental disabilities? So we have some hands, and for inhabitants of social houses, yes, yes, more opinions about that. What I can say that the most difficult part, the most difficultly reachable group was people who lived in social housing because they were the least organized group. If for the kids, they have their own day center. For people with disabilities, they have their own day center. But for those people who live in social housing, in the existing house, the only space where they met was a hall, and then they had small apartments. So we had to organize different events, rent tents, equipment, so that these people could meet and come together. And thus, what was very important, if you also have a group that is difficult to involve, our observation is that at first you need to let those people speak and express their opinions, and only then go to the main points. Because if we need to speak about the library design, people still have a lot of things to talk about before going to the main point. Then how we also reached this target group. We also did some practical things, like we fixed benches near their home, and people came to us and gave some advice how to work on this. The main challenge with different groups that are difficult to reach is how to make them organized. And quite often, some practical tasks, practical things are very convenient for this reason. Yeah. Just as I mentioned, fixing the benches. And my resume conclusion is that feeling at home means feeling safe. And this is what I wanted to show through my presentation with different examples. This is the environment, the space we want to create. Thank you.
Man ir viens jautājums pašai par to pašām beigām, par to justies mājīgi nozīmē
Feeling cozy
justies
means
droši.
feeling safe.
Bet pats arī es
Have you
novēroju
yourself
tā
noticed
telpa,
how
jo,
the space,
šis ir tā kā
because
sākums tam,
this
lai
is like the
cilvēki varētu
beginning for
iesaistīties
people to
kopienā.
engage in the
Tas
community.
vien, ka viņi atnāk,
The fact
ir
that they
pirmais
come
solis,
is the
ka viņi
first
vispār ir
step, that they
atnākuši,
have
un
come
viņi
at all,
viņi
and
var
that they
justies
know they
droši.
can
Tev ir
feel
arī kāds
safe. Do you have
novērojums
any
par to, kā tu viņus
observations on
tālāk
how to
iesaisti?
further involve them?
Es
I'm
domāju
thinking
tieši par
specifically
bibliotēkām.
about libraries.
Well, this for sure is the part why we had a lot of meetings with librarians, because we are creating the space, but of course the librarians will be those who will work in there, so we all had many different ideas which kind of activities there could be performed. But I should say that actually in the library events I have not participated that much, but this was my involvement with different kind of users, my experience in involving people. And just to be honest, the library idea, I didn't get an opportunity to work in the library and to involve people who come in there. So I would like to ask help to answer the question. Inga will talk a little later. Maybe there is another important question in the audience. If not, then I think a big applause to Rudis. Thank you for the story and also for what he has done. Really big thanks. And those who haven't visited Ogre Library yet, for sure do it. The one thing that I thought about when I came to Ogre, thinking that Ogre really is a good place for tourists as well, to see the nice golden autumn there. Now we move on to the panel discussion, a discussion on libraries' experience in creating what Rudis was talking about, in creating safe and welcoming meeting places. And this for sure is about that next step, how we meet and how we get to know the people and make them into community. So the first one speaking will be Inga from Ogre, and she has talked yesterday as well. So please, Inga. Good morning, everybody, again. I'm really happy to be here to represent Ogre Central Library, and I'm actually so proud that I come particularly from this library, because the head of the library is sending you greetings. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. She delegated me to come here and to tell you about how we work with the users of the library. And continuing the answer to the last question, just to help Rudis a little, how we can involve those people and from different user groups to give them some content, I think, and to have the librarians who are prepared, and I think this is the key answer to this question. And also answering to a couple of questions, also something that Rudis mentioned just a little briefly, I want to comment a little about the fact that on that bouldering wall there haven't been many accidents. Never we had to call emergency or involve other emergency situations. In library, in the space of the library, people are happy to spend their time, even in the hiding places, but also in the places where you can be together with others, to talk with your friends. And the premises are really used, and librarians really feel good there. And having experience working in different institutions, I can hear sometimes that colleagues say that they don't like something in these places, but librarians in Ogre Library, they are happy to go to work and they really enjoy this. They actually sometimes think if they live in reality or this is just like a dream, this beautiful place and what is happening in there. Talking about the curtains in the reading room, it's okay. In the teen room, they are still there. We don't have any more smoking problems. And also the civil marriage registry office is very good there. And thanks to them, even almost every day we get to experience the nice feeling of celebration. We see the bride and groom, and thanks to these events, we also had gained some new library users. So we are really co-working, co-living there very in harmony. But if we talk more about the library users, and if we look at the development of the numbers of the users since the beginning of library working, you can see statistical data that the library user amount is growing naturally, and it's not that greatly, but we have as much people as we do, and a lot of them are using library, and a big part, of course, is children. And also one of the ways to see if the library is working good is also to see the numbers of how many books they are giving to the people, and this number is also growing. But if we talk specifically about how to reach the groups and how to work with them, then our head of the library usually says that this is not just the building, these are the library services, and the experts that work here are those that make this space and make this function work, and make people want to come to the library, to feel they're comfortable, to feel they're safe, and also have something to do there so that they receive all what they need. And if we look back to those times when we created the project of the library, really the cooperation was really successful between library experts, and their opinion was really heard and taken into account within the working groups. Rudis mentioned that every 2 weeks they work together, architects, designers, librarians, at one table sitting in one room, and they listened to each other, and opinions were taken into account. And as the librarians, we were really liked the moment when architects, especially Rudis, where they were researching history of Ogre city, where they got to know people, locals, and they wanted to understand where is the potential of the library for the users and what are users' needs, what are the peculiarities of Ogre city. People come to library, and we really have a big users amount who are children, and cooperation with other institutions as well. Yesterday I told you that we have a good cooperation with social services of Ogre City. We are implementing different reading facilitation of reading activities for people with different social backgrounds, with different problems, like mental problems, and we have events in library, and also we are going to social services premises, and we can conduct the trainings there and activities. Also, we are cooperating with Red Cross of Latvia, particularly of Zemgala region, and we are soon starting language learning program for people with migration background, and also my mothers clubs. For them, we also have activities, both for mothers and for children. And in 2022, when the war started and Ukrainian civilians came into Latvia in the large amount, in Ogre Central Public Library, we offered for Ukrainian children some school called Pūces skoliņa, and it gave the trainings both in Russian and Ukrainian languages, and our librarians, they were the ones who conducted these activities. And we asked why there is no activity like this year. Librarians say there is no need because all of the children that came, they are already integrated in the local community reading in Latvian. So what is the pluses of these reading activities? Because they were brought there by parents, and parents also were involved, and some of them also stayed for the activity, listened, and also learned language together with their children. There were also parents who just left the children there in the activity, but they didn't stay in the activity, but they go into the library, and they also read the books there and tried to learn the language. So by one activity, which was meant for children, we actually reached a larger group. Also connected with library premises and the involvement of different groups, of different... I want to stress how important is the first floor atrium, where we have an exhibition. In the first floor, now it's already on the second floor. In the informal discussions yesterday, I told my colleagues that to this exhibition, different artists, artists want to be exhibited there in public library. We have a long waiting line through 2026, and our head of library thinks that we should not register people in line for 2027 because we don't know how it will be. But yes, exhibitions open in the library starting from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. So no exhibition halls can be open that large time, and to be so much available for the locals, Ogre citizens. So really, library is the place where people can come with public transport, and actually library is also a place where you can wait for your public transport. You are sure that it will be a warm place where you can spend some time while you wait for your bus, for example. For sure, I will not tell you anything new in connection with the fact that library is safe, open to others, inclusive, and community center. But to add to what Linda said in her opening speech about characteristics of what is library nowadays, I want to add the thing that nowadays library is the living room of the society. As Rudis said, it's a place where you can come and feel safe. A person can come into the library. He or she doesn't need to be the registered user. As we have seen that not all of those who come into the library, as for example people with migration background, not all of them want to be registered. They can just get into, and they don't even need to say who their name and surname. We can give them their opportunity to get all the services just with one ticket for one day, so they don't need to register for a long time. Because library services are for free and for everyone, and they are equally available. Don't mind your social background, your sexual orientation, sex, or age. So we really want to have a library as a neutral place. We are really open to let people be who they are. Next to the entrance to the library, we also have, no, next to this conference room entrance, you can find the leaflets of our libraries. There you will find a QR code, which will let you to a virtual reality excursion. So even if you don't get an opportunity to go to Ogre, you can go there virtually. But I really hope that you'll have time to come visit Ogre Public Library. But at the end, I would like to say that there has been a publication in Instagram, a quote next to Ogre Public Library photo. One mother told that if your child doesn't want to go out of the library, it means that you are in Ogre. It just proves that people go there and children really, they don't want to go home. And also I have heard from adults that if they go to library at the time where they cannot go together with children, they better don't say to the children that I went to library without you. Thank you so much, and you're all welcome to Ogre Public Library. Thank you so much, Inga. And what I really got from Inga's speech, I got my answer, and I like this living room of society comparison, because if we are sitting in the living room for some time, we for sure will start the discussions. There's a question, but maybe we'll leave it for later. Now the next speaker is Veronica. We also get to know her yesterday.
Well, thank you yet again for the invitation to be here. WOTSE Library opened in 2003. It's a large and quite impressive building that I'm truly proud of and that stands out in WOTSE. And I have to remind you that we are a small town with less than 6,000 inhabitants. So it's truly a building that stands out in WOTSE. In Norway, the public service system is required to provide generally equal services to everyone, regardless of the background. This means equal quality, equal access, and equal outcomes. For the libraries, the principle is reinforced in the Norwegian Public Library Act, which states that libraries shall be for everyone. At WOTSE Library, when the building opened in 2003, great emphasis was placed on this accessibility. We received recognition for universal accessibility then, and just last year, our staff was certified as a dementia-friendly library. With the population getting older, I think it's important to know how to handle dementia with dignity. Universal design goes beyond ramps, guidelines, and lighting, which of course is important. It also means cognitive, communicative, and digital accessibility. It's about removing barriers, engaging diverse users, and ensuring staff competence. In other words, it aims to ensure that all aspects of the library building and the services are offers that are accessible to everyone, regardless of ability. And just as I stressed in my presentation yesterday, it means that we have to know our community. Here are some pictures from WOTSE Library. And both the library space and the library services are ongoing processes. We received recognitions when we opened, but since then our needs have changed. So since I took over last year, we've done a lot. There's a small picture down there where you see me moving around books, and that's because, you know, needs change, the population changed, and we need to update how the space is outlined and how the space is used. And this means that the architecture has to be flexible. And we still have to take in mind how they thought when building the, drawing the building with the guidelines, and that things still works. So you still have that universal design. And also here, the Norwegian Association of Local and Regional Authorities. I think I left it over there, the brochure. But they are great support for the libraries and the municipality administration. And this brochure I know exists digital as well. Some of you might have gotten it yesterday. But if you need a link or something, just talk to Elizabeth, and it's in English. And it's specially made for libraries. So since 2014, the Norwegian law has emphasized libraries as independent meeting place and arenas for public dialogue and debate. And that's something that's changed since 2003. Libraries have always in some way been a meeting place, but now it's been emphasized and it's by law. And this reflects the idea of the libraries as a third place, space beyond home and work where people meet voluntarily and community ties are built. In practice, this means libraries contribute not only to learning, but also to democracy, belonging, and integration. We are low-intensity meeting places where people of different ages, backgrounds, and cultures can come together without pressure. So how do you work with the space and your services to ensure this? Well, an important project that we are about to start up with in cooperation with 3 other municipalities in Finnmark County, and that has received fundings from the National Library in Norway, is linked to the truth and reconciliation process in Norway. In Norway, we have the Sami population, which is an indigenous, which has an indigenous status, and we have a few national minorities, such as the Kven. And here I'm wearing the Kven star, which you can find in their flag, and I'm also wearing a button that says "I love libraries" in one of the Sami languages. In Vadsø, the Kven, or they're also called the Norwegian Finns, are a big minority. So big that they actually constituted the majority in Vadsø at the end of the 19th century. And also the Sami population is a big part of Vadsø. And the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was established by the government to investigate the Norwegianization policy and injustice towards this population. And their report was submitted June 1st, 2023, and resulted in a formal apology, amongst other things. The injustice done has created both psychological wounds and trauma, but also conflicts between people and distrust in governmental systems. And we believe that the library plays a role in providing access and visibility for the Sami and the Kven culture, language and history. And in our project, we are to create space for dialogue, reflection, and cultural understanding, in collaboration and co-creation with local organizations and residents. So we are going to train the library staff in how to moderate difficult conversations. And the focus is going to be on how we as a community can move forward while recognizing historical injustice and their ongoing impact. To do this, we are also going to engage the youth in cooperation with the school library. After all, they are the new generation, and they are the one that needs the tools to move on. But meeting places also happen in small, everyday ways. And in Vadsø, when I took over, the children's section and the youth section was at the same place. And you can just imagine that that wasn't really a good thing, especially for the youth. They wanted their own space. So what we have done is taking both groups seriously. And I think that just as we adults need a meeting place, the children need a meeting place on their own terms. So Saturday in Vadsø, we have renamed Children's Saturday. If you're coming to the library to study, I would recommend that you come another day, because on Saturday, the library is a children's space on their term. They are allowed to run around, talk and scream a bit higher than normal. And we also have story times or movie times, and family meets in a welcoming environment. And this has become truly popular amongst the children. And they meet, they go in different kindergartens, they live in different neighborhoods, but at the library they all come together on their own term. But of course, this means that we also needed to create a meeting place for the youth. So we've been moving around. Back in the library, we moved all the books that used to be there and created an open space and tried to kind of, there wasn't a wall there, so we got this hut instead, so they kind of got some privacy, but the library is really just an open space, so we wanted to make sure that that spirit was still there, so we're not building walls, we're just trying to, like you also were talking about, creating these cozy areas where you can hide but still be a part of the library and the environment. And this means that now the signing is all off in the entire library because we've been moved around so much, so we need to walk through the library and ensure that the signing and the way for people to understand and find where everything is in the library is accessible as well. And when we do that, I want to include kvensk and Sami language as well, so that the identity is a part of our identity, that you can meet it everywhere as a natural, everyday thing. So to sum up what I've been trying to say is, and what we've been talking about these 2 days, libraries are more than a collection. We are a democratic arena, we are safe spaces, and we are inclusive meeting places. And through universal design, the work we do to support integration services and digital skill development, our soon-to-be reconciliation work, and just everyday library life, we try to ensure that everyone, regardless of background, feels that they belong and that we are free and open space. And we need to have an architecture that that can grow with us. And we need to have respect for this universal design and just think how everything can work together to create this. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica, so much. I think that was there is another word now, that is the arena, that came into the spectrum of the different words, how we describe the library, and I think it was very inspiring what you told us about the meeting, also calling it a meeting place also for young people and children. So thank you so much, and also, of course, about the reconciliation process. Our next speaker is Lisa Pema. Yes, please. And Lisa is from Estonia. We haven't heard so much Estonian experience so far. And you're from Jõhvi, right? And I don't know if all of you know where it is. I must say that I had to do a little Google map thing to see how far it is from here. But I'm sure you'll share that thing with us as well. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you. And I am from Estonia, so it's a long way from here. Winds of change in Jõhvi Central Library. Me personally, I work at a rural library in Voka, which is located about 10 minutes outside of Jõhvi. And our two municipalities are merging by the end of the year. And we are already working very closely together. And why I am here today is the fact that there is going to be a new community center building in Jõhvi. And also we in Voka are building our own little community center, which is created around the idea that the library is the heart of the community. And where is Jõhvi? Jõhvi is located in the northeast of Estonia, that little red dot up there. And we have a population of about a little over 12,000 people, and there is 66% of those are Estonians and 34% are people from other countries, mostly from third world countries, Russia, Belarus, Ukrainians, but there are a few people from other European countries too. What makes us pretty special is that there are already over 40 different ethnicities, ethnic groups within our community that are already integrated into our community. So having about 500 Ukrainian refugees isn't really a new thing, because we already have experience in dealing with different needs of different people. And the thing about Jõhvi is also that we have about 50% of our population that is already Russian speaking. And to change that, now we have changed our laws. So the education will be in Estonian from the very beginning, from kindergarten, which a few years back we had Russian-speaking kindergartens, we had Russian-speaking schools, so now we are working harder to integrate all of them into our society. About Jõhvi Central Library today. So as you can see, the building is quite small and old. It is a 1960s cinema building, which is modified into a library. The same building has been a library for almost 30 years. So I grew up with that library being the only library I knew. And well, back then we didn't know any better. But the library, as you can see, has very few windows. So the space is dark, it is cramped with shelves, with books, with the kids section is very, very, very small. It is not adapted to digital needs, modern needs, and it's about 500 square meters. So it is very small. The most difficult part with that building is that it does not accommodate any special needs. The entryways are very narrow, and there's no elevator, there's only stairs, and people with special needs, with mobility issues, can't really use the library because they can't access it. And here you can see the project of the new library. So it's a completely different concept. The vision for the library was to open it up, change it into a community center that people can access the space for learning, for developing digital skills, for culture, for events, and for technology and innovation. One of the most important things, in my opinion, is the location of the new library. The old library is located in the edge of the town, away from schools, away from the culture hall. But the new library will be located in the middle of our new education and cultural campus. In a few 100-meter radius, there will be elementary school, high school, kindergarten, sports hall, hobby school, concert hall, a shopping mall. Everything will be really, really, really close. The design was made so that there would be as much natural light and openness to the area as possible. Like with the large reading areas, smaller nooks for people who want to work alone or study alone. There's many, many different rooms for classes, but everything is designed so it would be multi-use for different people. And a little overview of the first floor. As you can already see, the hall is integrating indoor-outdoor spaces, and there will be a very light, welcoming foyer and cafe, which it has like bright connecting. There's 3 entrances, so people from different directions, it would be very comfortable to move through the building and thus inviting people in. There will be 2 event halls, a smaller hall that would fit around 50 people, and it is possible to open it to the outside, and the larger hall, which would have a stage, professional lighting, and and a recording studio. The recording studio is already thought to have to be in from the hobby center, because right now they have a very, very small room that doesn't really cater to any of the needs. There will be a play zone for the children and toddlers, a day center and hobby rooms for art and language classes, club rooms, and a resilience center. It is something that some of us already talked about yesterday. A resilience center is designed to serve community needs in crisis situations, basically for people to get information and to have a place to go to charge phones or get water, and have a place to connect with the municipalities and have information on what to do, where to go. And kitchens, that is a very modern add-on to the project, because right now, at least in Estonia, it's very popular to have all kinds of cooking classes. And we thought that it would be a very good idea to integrate something like that into the community center. On the second floor, we will have the main library area. It would have a connecting layout for children's, youth, general library areas, tiered seating staircases for reading, small screenings and presentations, balcony with integrated reading nooks overlooking first floor. So it would connect very well the first floor for people who are just walking through, to invite them to the library. There will also be a separate children and youth zone, like a fairy tale room, play zone, and a storage area, and soundproof classroom for 28 students, because right now our schools were designed a bit too small, so they are running out of space, and with the community center we thought about them too, so they would have extra space, and also to invite them into the library and for them to use the space and invite children to come to the library, because very many of them right now don't have the habit of visiting the library, because it is a very small, cramped, dark space, which isn't very welcoming, even though we are actively trying to invite them and have different activities for them. And on the third floor is a library area for a quiet, peaceful atmosphere, for study groups, and also a staff area. Right now, the library is already very actively trying to welcome the community in. We have all kinds of different programs for children, for youth. We have story hours, robotics clubs, unicorn squad for girls, which is it is a technology lessons for specifically catered towards girls to integrate them more into the IT section. And we have author talks, we have handicraft circles, we have language cafes, we have digital literacy sessions, there's exhibitions, concerts, like everything you can think of we're already trying to do, but we are very limited on our space. So imagine when we go from 500 square meters to 2,500 square meters, as we are already so actively trying to be the center, be the heart of the community, if we are actually located in the center, in the heart of the community, what all we can do, what we can achieve, and how much we can help the community. But right now, we don't even know what we can do because we have never, ever had those kinds of possibilities. So we are very much looking forward to the building process starting, and in a few years I would welcome every one of you to come and visit our new community center. So, thank you.
Thank you, Liz, so much, and I think it is a huge delight to hear how excited you are about the new project. And I think all of us wish you all the best of luck with the construction, and I think we'll definitely go and visit once it's there. So really, all the best of luck. And our last speaker is Krista from Gāliņciem Bibliotēka. Please.
Saiti vai? Saiti. Jā, nē, viņi ir lejupielādēts, jā? Tā, šī, jā. Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Krista Karabeško and thank you for having me. Yes, I will speak about Gāliņciem's library in which I am the manager. So Gāliņciems is located in Ventspils. Ventspils is a city in Latvia which is next to the Baltic Sea. At first, the library was established in 1954 and it has had 2 homes before. And the reason I became a librarian is because this is my community and I was a logist before, and when I saw the opening I just couldn't resist. So I started working in the library, which is the second one. It was a 90 square meter space, but now our library is this since 2023. Let's walk around a bit. Dmitry. Oh, okay. Will it work? Oh. I inserted a little video just walking through the library, but it seems it's not working. Yeah? Okay, you will have to do with the pictures. So it's yes. And the last speaker told that they want to go from 500 square meters to 2,500 square meters. So we went from 90 square meters to 600 square meters. So that was our big change. Yes, we opened in 2023, and the architects were Sarma and Norde, and the total cost was around 3 million euros. The reason why the library is not a big library, because the community is not a big community. We are in Ventspils, but we have 7 libraries in Ventspils, and this is why we don't need another big one. So it's a 1-floor design, it's easy access, and we have acoustic elements like, for example, the walls are acoustic and other elements too. And also we have an event hall which can hold up to 60 people. And we have also a kitchen and shower facility, because we are not only a library, we are also a multifunctional center or community center. In order to require the European co-funding, we had to implement 6 new services, thus making us as a community center even more. So these are the 6 services. These services, we take them more as directions in which we work in, organizing events, workshops, and lectures, and many other ways how we do this. So it's traditional crafts, it's local history and nature research, it's writing workshops, it's Latvian heritage, it's family heritage research, and also learning and applying digital skills and technologies. And plus everything, we are also the library for the blind. So yes, as I said, this is how we manifest these services. And for example, for the local history research, we collect materials from the locals. We have the Sventini dialect, we collect the materials from that too. And as I was from this community, I decided that my master thesis will be about Galinciems in 20th century. So I did the master about the area because nobody else has done it before. About research of nature, the main focus is on gardening, and there are so many lectures and meetings about gardening. We try to make them every month, but also we are organizing lectures about many other themes like tree planting or ornithology. My favorite is everything about mycology, because I love it myself. So every year we plan excursions where people learn about mushrooms, edible, non-edible, and everything else, because still people die from mushrooms every year. So this is really important. And one good project I have is with the Association of Mycologists. They gave us these baskets, and those baskets contain materials so we can go to schools and teach children about the mushrooms. There are 3D printed mushrooms and lots of interesting stuff. I will show you the basket in the lunchtime. If you're interested, you can come and look. And if we talk about traditional crafts, we had a great project because of our 70th anniversary. We collected squares from, it was a community involvement project. So everybody had to bring squares, 20 times 20 centimeters, and then we would make fabric for trees. And it was really good because it was so heartwarming. People just really loved this project. They brought us these squares. They brought us 1,090 squares in total. And there were people from Latvia who sent us squares too when they saw about this project. And the kindergarten was involved, and many other not facilities, but places like schools. And this is the result. We have 9 tree decorations, and these trees are next to the library, and they look really pretty. We put them up for 2 weeks max, so we don't hurt the trees. We have buttons, and for the buttons, we didn't have that many buttons, so we asked people to donate the buttons, and now we have around 20 liters of buttons because everybody donated us. Yes, if we talk about the traditional crafts, and we also make lectures about so many themes like glass blowing, beekeeping, also sauna, and let's move forward to literary workshops. So we have monthly creative writing, author talks, and which is really important for us is braille writing workshops, because we want to raise awareness, and every time somebody comes for an excursion, then we make this workshop. We make them write in braille, and everybody loves writing in braille because it's really interesting. We have these palettes for it. So about folklore and cultural heritage, we do a lot of things, but these are just some examples, and one good example could be that workshops for learning a traditional instrument kokle, or also celebrating lesser known traditional festivals with games. And then we also do culinary workshops. For example, sklandrauši is a specific food for Ventspils, for Kurzeme area. It's rye bread with potatoes and carrots. People used to make it because they were poor, but now it's our culture, and it's said that it's the most disgusting food. It was in some kind of, but it's not. It's very good. We like it so. But this was also for the teachers from kindergarten who were Russian-speaking kindergarten before, and the director, she asked us to make this so they could see our culture in this way too. So And we do a lot for family heritage research. We help have this group of people that are interested in this, and they have meetings, and we get somebody to do the lectures and discussions about the DNA, how to interpret DNA, and how to best do the research from start. And the last one is the support for learning applying digital skills. I think a lot of libraries already do this, but we have on Fridays we have a time from 1 to 3 when we ask the seniors to come individually, and then they have their own time when we work with them. And yes, the Library for the Blind, as I mentioned, we do the workshops for raising awareness, and we try to speak to them directly, to the people who have who have reading difficulties, and we ask them to come to our events, to all the events they could come to. So, and lastly, I want to show you the statistics. We used to have 800 active users, and we have more than doubled the active users because of the new library. Also, visits have tripled, and people read 20% more books than they used to. So it's really, really good results for opening the new library. Thank you.
Now, I would like to ask all 4 speakers in front, because it was supposed to be a panel discussion. My apologies that it didn't really work out that way, but I'll still let you all ask some questions, and we have postponed the coffee break a little bit, so don't worry. So Mar had the first question.
I'm sorry if I will ask too many questions, but you can also not answer if you don't want to all of the questions. My name is Mara, and I'm from a governmental institution. So this panel was really interesting because it talked about the questions that are topical for Nordic countries and for us. So, which is democratical changes, our depopulation. There also depopulation is getting older with different. We are talking also and. We have to think how to deal with finances, and so I have a small question for each of you, and for Rudis as well, and one question for everybody. So I will be very quick. First question for Inga: in which way do you ensure? This is a bit different question. How do you ensure equal access for all people? Because you have maybe in the real life, those people who have like stronger character, they are really good at getting their space. But if a person is a bit shy, he will not get that better spot or better table. So how do you make it available? Lisa, the question to you. Maybe I will ask you in English, okay? I will ask in English.
In Latvia, we're also trying to do uniting municipalities. We also have, in addition to libraries, we have museums and 560 culture centers in Latvia. So how do you get to working together in order to come to an agreement, considering that when you do your changes, you probably have to decrease employment of people and you have to decrease costs? Maybe you have some suggestions in this. Because everybody seems to be wanting to do all these exciting things, museums and libraries and culture centers. Then regarding VADSO, do you have any quick, a little bit of extra quick information on dementia-friendly libraries? What does that mean and how can you do that? And Krista, this is the question that goes also to all of you and Rudis, which is 6-meter windows. How is this energy efficient? Are you really saving money in making these spaces more open in Nordic and Baltic countries?
Thank you, Mar. You have to keep your answers very, very short, though. Inga goes
Jā.
first.
Jautājums par,
The question about
par kā mēs nodrošinām
how
tās
do we
vietas,
ensure
viss patiešām
the
darbojas
availability
ļoti
of
labi.
spots? It
Uz,
actually
tām
works
vietām,
really
kur
good.
var pasēdēt,
Those
atpūsties,
spots where
mums
you
ir
can
tik
sit
daudz,
and
ka
rest,
konkurence
we
nav.
have so
Un,
much
ja
of
runa
them.
ir
There
par-
is no
par bērniem,
competition.
viņi ļoti ātri
If we talk
pārvietojās, un
about
viņu
children, they
vienīgā
are really quick.
konkurence ir uz tehnoloģijām, bet tur ir
Only
stingri
thing is
noteikumi, ka katram
digitalization
bērnam
and
ir noteikts
technologies,
laiks, cik viņš
but
drīkst
there we
pavadīt
have
pie
decided
datoriem,
that
un
each
viņi dodās prom,
child
vai ir
has their
iestājas rindā
own
pa jaunam.
time,
Bet
and
uz
then we
pārējām vietām
limit this.
patiešām
But
vietas
for
ir
other
pietiekami
spots, we
daudz, un
have
pietiekami
many of
daudz
them.
tam, lai
It's
grupās
okay.
strādātu, gan
It's
arī,
okay to
lai-
work in the
lai
groups, and
individuāli
it's
viens
okay
pats
to work
nolīstu kādā
individually,
Bet
to
uz
just
telpām,
find a hiding
konferenču
spot.
zālēm,
But
mazajām pulcēšanās
premises for
vietām ir,
conferences,
attālinātā
we
reģistrēšanās
have
pieejama
the
bibliotēkas
online
mājaslapā.
registration in
Attālināti var
web page
pieteikties,
of the
un,
library, so
patiešām
you
viss ir
can
sakārtots un
apply
strādā
for
ļoti
that.
labi.
So it's all very clear and works.
Jā.
Thank you so much, Veronica or Lisa, who will.
Lucky for us, in our region, we don't have anything similar to what we are creating. It's a unique concept, and instead of people losing jobs, we are creating new job opportunities because we don't have any other big museums or places for people to do what we are going to offer them. So we are creating new job opportunities for people.
Thank you. Veronica?
Yes. Well, first of all, the people with dementia will come to the. Is it on? Yeah. Functional. But if stressed or if something happens, or I don't know, it can be a lot of things, they can suddenly don't remember how does the library card look like, why am I here, what was I gonna ask, you know, it's just, but they still function. And when you are, as a staff, it's important to just kind of slow everything down and just handle the situation with dignity and not get impatient and just be like, okay, let's look at your cards together. We can find the library card. So we've been trained by this association that works with dementia, and we have also talked with people in the community that has dementia on how they would like us to handle situation and how we can recognize that is what's happening in this situation and how to meet it. And it's not just people with dementia that can get cognitive confused, so you can use the same approach and the tools in various situations. So it's just recognition and tools, and remember to be patient and handle everything with dignity, with a smile, not make them feel stupid, not ask too many questions. If it's a lot of noise, you maybe go somewhere else, take them back, or, just kind of take away all the other impressions that can make the situation tougher or more confusing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mara, for the question. I've talked to technical director about this because I've had this question too, and he said that our building is not very expensive to uphold, so we are fine with that.
Yeah. And the road is about the window?
Yeah.
I will answer in Latvian about energy efficiency. The short answer would be that it's a passive design of the, so meaning that glass is moved to the southern part, and then we receive the heating from the sun. Of course, during the summer we have to think that it's not too heated. and it would be like really technically looking at this about the large windows that are moved to the south. But if they are to the north part, then you have to look at this from the design, then it might not be that effective. But we have to keep in mind that it is just one part in thinking architecturally, and through the windows we get the idea why we need them. Similarly, like in the presentation from Estonia, it was that it's like in old building you have small windows and it's very closed building. What we want is open feeling. We also have like some new buildings in Riga that are closed, that don't have large windows, and then we need too much marketing. If this would be like to the street, open windows, the marketing wouldn't be needed so much because people would see what is happening inside there. So energy efficiency is one part and the communication is the other part in this question. Thank you so much. I don't see any more hands with the questions from the audience. No, one more question. Good day. I will ask not just for you, but it's a question for everybody, for all of us. Yesterday there was a speaker from Lithuania who talked about one Kika-Mika, like a character from the books. Kakemake, yeah, thank you. And it is really interesting within the story because the character is liked by the children, and this character stimulates children to learn more and read more. So my question is there something like this in Latvia? Okay, there is own character in Latvia. But once again, if you have children in libraries until 7 years old, we have a fox. Do you know about her? How fun it would be if the fox would come to the meeting in library and there would be also children. How do you think this idea? What do you think about this idea? Who will answer? Yeah, I will be really quick about Kika-Mika and how to facilitate and make children want to read more. Public libraries in Latvia really think about how to encourage children read and write. And in Ogre Public Library, we have a really excellent expert. She's a blogger about books, and she is the author of this program. And in our library, connecting both primary schools and schools, we really have many activities. We talk about Kika-Mika and other characters, other books. And if some character, for example, fox, would come to the library, of course, it would be really effective, and children would really like it. Already children come to library, it would for sure make them want to come more. We have some activities with the owl, and owl comes, and at the Christmas time, the gnome, Christmas gnome comes. I have the last question to all of you, like really, really short answers, please. What you heard from each other, what you would take from each other, from other speakers, what is something that you would take to yourself?
Drīzāk varbūt gribēju par vakardienas vienu teikumu.
I would like to something that I heard yesterday. I think it was Lithuanian representative that told that after you are using computer, children have to read books. I think I will take this idea to my library. From Norway, I would like to take the fact that you always have to think about situation and how we are changing and our users are changing. From Estonia, how important it is to have to think about the place where the library is located, because our old library, we thought that maybe we should move our library outside the city. It would be like a catastrophe. And from the other presentation, there were also nice ideas to take.
For me, most important parts were the parts about children and youth and how their sections in the libraries are designed in different libraries, because they are the future of our countries. Without them, there is no point in keeping the libraries, because they are the next generation. So those parts about children and youth were the parts that I paid extra attention to.
Well, I think it's been interesting to see how we all work with this third space, how we all work on making the library relevant and adapted to our communities in different ways. And I've been writing down different things from all the different speakers, and it just emphasizes the fact that even though we live in different countries, our communities are different, the core thing about the library and librarianship is the same, and we have a way of thinking that goes across borders, and that makes these types of conferences really relevant to attend and to speak to across borders. So thank you for that. Thank you for the invitation yet again.
Thank you so much.
I think that all of the speakers deserve applause once again. One minute, please. Elizabeth.
You had a great experience about BAMSE. Could you share very shortly about regarding reading, promoting? Lasīšana, veicināšana ir dzirdējumi. Piemēram, no Norvēģijas tāda ideja no pašvaldības.
Yeah, well, so my name is Elizabeth, and I come from Norway. I work in the Association of Local and Regional Authorities. But in my previous job, I was working in a municipality. And in this municipality, we had this little, we call it Bokbamse, which is like a small book, what should I say, Winnie the Pooh. I don't know the English word for Bamse.
Teddy bear.
Teddy bear, yeah, teddy bear. And the thing we did is that when there were newborns in the municipality, they received a book package from the municipality. It was 3 or 4 books, so that the parent could start to read for the children or for the infants at home. You know, like pointing books and things like that. It was just 3 or 4 books. And then in the first grade, the mayor came to school with another book package. It was like 3 or 4 books. And the librarians had picked out these books, and also in the 4th grade. So this was a plan for several years to activate the children and also the parents so that they could read for the children and also that they should get to know books. So that's what we did.
Thank you so much. I think it's also a lot about equality, so everybody has the chance. Well, one more time, round of applause. Thank you. Draugi, mīļie konferences dalībnieki.
Dear conference participants, I hope that all of you got a chance to talk and to give your experience and get to know this method and to get to know how was the things in other dialogue circles. I will give the floor to each facilitator just for 3 minutes, really quickly, really shortly. Please tell us what were the main topics. What were the main ideas you heard from the participants? I don't know who will be the first one. Who wants to be the first one? Jānis is ready to be the first one. My dialogue circle was full of democracy, even if the method is the aim is not to come to the conclusion. Our opinions within the circle were quite equal, and we all came to a conclusion that it doesn't matter which language people read books. The most important thing is that they read and that they want to educate themselves, that they want to be educated, and no matter in which language. Also, there was an opinion that in Latvian public libraries we need to provide the books in Ukrainian language. And also in the future, if in Latvia there will be Pakistani people, we also need books in their language or another language for the foreigners that would need those books. Librarians also would like to see bilingual books that have text in two languages, for example, in Latvian and Russian or in Latvian and Ukrainian. But probably because of the financial issues, we don't have these kind of books, but there would be a need for those. All the librarians understand that libraries need to strengthen belonging to Latvia, but at the same time, the books that are available in library need to be equal and have books in different languages. Thank you, Yanis. Mara, maybe you would want to be the next one. In the dialogue circles, there sometimes is a difference in opinions, but not in our circle. We had different people in our circle, not only librarians. We were talking about the integration of Ukrainian civilians, but also we're talking about integration of people with other backgrounds. And what was really cool was that people from libraries are just saying we have to deal with the challenges. Like there is no, they are not afraid. They just need to know that they need to get tasks done, and we need to be empathetic with other people, and especially with those people who who can have a lot of emotions, knowing that they need to learn Latvian language, and so this is can get a bit emotional. So librarians need to be empathetic and need to show that they are not they will not be angry at the person that they don't know Latvian yet, but also need to tell like the jokes in different languages and be patient and give time to people to learn the language, and also to give support to each other. And some people told that I am alone, and I am like alone in my emotions. But no, it's important to give a support to each other, that there is a shoulder to lean on. And we also talked about the materials, that they need to be in the language that is in different languages, and we shouldn't exclude any languages, like all of them need to be equally represented. That's it. Thank you, Mara. Very shortly, thank you. Iveta, maybe you can give us. Good. Hello. I am not sure I can tell really like shortly, because we had wide discussions in the first dialogue circle, and we had really successful dialogue. Also, the number of people was really successful because it allowed everybody to talk. Thank you for everybody giving their opinion. And not to repeat myself, in our visions, we talked and also talked about the importance of library being like home, where you can drink tea and get a very welcoming librarian, welcoming person who has time to listen to you, who can share the information. It is very important to have a person, a librarian there. Also, we talked about the challenges that librarians face. From one point of view, the society still, and probably it is something we can deal with, but people still don't quite understand who are these foreigners, newcomers, and how we can help them. Either these could be people with mobility problems or with special needs, but the libraries need to be inclusive, that's for sure. But as we talked, the librarian, the person that works He probably is the one person working in like parish library or in the larger city. There are a couple of people. Their tasks of the librarian are really quite a lot, and it can be quite a work overload. And we talked about that yes, there is a large resource in library, but still we need to provide the human resources and give something to the person, that the person working in library can also receive education, but also have time for rest, because this is the large resource. Human will be the key being there in library, and who can provide the service and give the information to the newcomers. And also, talking about, thank you to Ieva who made some notes, we were sharing our experience about the presentations, what was the most memorable things. And we talked that a lot of people told that the library is really accented as having a big role in the integration, but the largest thing is learning this art to look at the large context. So interdisciplinary and cooperation, so that librarian is as a resource, as the human resource within library for newcomers, for foreigners. And yes, an art to see a large context. Thank you so much. And as the last group, which was with me, we had probably half of the people were librarians and half no, people not connected with libraries. But we also had like a general conclusion that libraries need to be a place where everybody is welcomed. And these methods, how we can welcome people each, so that each person can find themselves, depends on how well we see our target audience. How we can and also welcome newcomers, maybe with the same methods, but maybe with the other. Depends on where the library is located. Maybe it has like a green area, and that is the way how they can attract people. But for example, in Warsaw, in the metro is located library. Our libraries could be placed maybe in shopping centers, and the kids could be left at the library while the parents are shopping. And there were also different discussions about that libraries could, for example, be friendly for different needs and interests. We were probably talking about how library also would be friendly to animals. We heard that some libraries have cats, and we thought that maybe there could be an action where people come together with their dog, and it could be like an attraction to come back to the library. And this, yeah, and or it maybe can be the place if you don't have an animal at home, you can go to library and enjoy it. Talking about the newcomers, the idea of welcoming everybody, and yeah, we thought that we can organize the events. For example, welcome to newcomers located in libraries, and give them some welcoming packages for newcomers. We also learned about Norway, that at 8 months and 2 years, children, when they come to the doctor's visit, the doctors talk with parents how important it is to read out loud to their children, starting already from 2 years old. And this is the way they are also invited to go to the library. So, and also, for example, the kindergartens can have a stock of books where where parents can just take a book from the primary school. So we had a lot of inspirational examples. We learned from each other. We talked about practical things more, and at the end we came to the idea. We talked about those newcomers that have the largest challenges when they don't have Latvian language skills or English or Russian. Then it's really, really hard to make a connection with these people. We talked really a lot about Roma people, and we also talked about library needing to be a safe place. and also for how to work with readers who don't know how to read. So these were the challenges we talked about. Thank you again for all the 4 groups. And you had all at least one dialogue circle method. I hope you can take this method home. And if you want to learn more, there is this book I showed you before. Thank you so much. And now, to conclude this conference, we have spent 2 days, really many practical information. I hope you get inspiration from each other and had a networking and found new contacts between institutions and libraries. And a couple of practical and for the future thinking, some of the conclusions. Please, Daina, we give the floor to you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who has spent with us those both days or just one day. Thank you for sharing your experience. For the future cooperation, I want to mention our webpage, norden.lv. There is a part about grant programs, about Nordic and Baltic mobility program for public administration. Within this program, both organizations from Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Norway can apply for the experience sharing visits. So if Norway applies, they go to 2 Baltic countries. If somebody from Baltic countries is applying, then they visit 2 Nordic institutions. Those can be also libraries that apply. For example, if from Latvia or Estonia, you go to Norway. There are also working seminars, like networking seminars, where you can apply. And you can invite both colleagues from Nordic countries or from Baltic countries to write the projects together or discuss different other questions. And now we would like to thank other speakers who are here.
So we will start with Rūdis. Veronica, please. So we continue with thanking the facilitators of the dialogue circles and also the moderator of the day. Linda. Jānis. Iveta. And Mara.
Well, and I'll do it in English because it used to be, well, it's an international conference, so so that means that we speak different languages, and that's why special thanks goes to our interpreters who ensured this smooth interpretation and understanding. So, Jolanta and Sandra.
And now we are going for lunch, and after the lunch we will have a guided tour around the Rēzekne libraries.
Vēlreiz visiem liels paldies!
Thank you all for participating, and we hope that you will succeed with all the ideas in future. Thank you.